Welcome, 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 folks. Welcome, 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 humans, welcome, humans. And as always, inviting in some folks from the more than just human world. Tell me if you can figure out who this is today. This one might be a little easy today. Was anyone thinking rattlesnake? If you were thinking rattlesnake, then that is absolutely correct. We are so glad that you are here today for Sunday service. Let's get started. Welcome, folks. Good afternoon and welcome to the Compassion Consortium. I'm Reverend Sarah Bowen, and I'm joined today by co-founders Victoria Moran and Reverend William Melton, alongside members of our spiritual team, Jen and Phil, plus animal chaplains Jody Jacobs and Elena Sigler. In order to ensure that we don't have disruption during the service, we've turned off some of the Zoom sharing functions. In fact, Phil, you can turn off the screen share on our rattlesnakes as well when you get a minute. We look forward to seeing you all and hearing your voices later during fellowship time, but for now, we'll have some of those functions turned off. We meet for Sunday service on the third Sunday of every month. If you're new to us, welcome. We're an interfaith and interspiritual and interspecies community. I invite you to read about our approach and understand a little bit more. Also, if you're watching today on the replay on YouTube, and don't forget, folks, we have all of our services and all of the wonderful guest speakers on our YouTube channel. At the beginning of every Sunday service, I offer an acknowledgement, drawing our awareness to the humans and other species who are indigenous to and currently present in whatever habitat I'm in. You can probably tell today that I'm traveling by my headset. This month, I'm in upstate New York, land of a whole bunch of amazing peoples and other than human peoples, the Haudenosaunee, the Mississauga peoples, as well as the woodland vole, the southern bog lemming, the osprey, and the common garter snake. I've been wondering about that last naming choice. Common? I'm not a fan of that. Common? Is anyone really common? So I'll offer you instead the more official name. Let's see if I can get this all out in one breath. Thamnophis sirtalis. The genus name Thamnophis is derived from Greek words thamnos, which means bush, and ophis, which means snake. So it really means the snake's preferred habitat in vegetated areas. And the species name you just heard there, sirtalis, likely comes from the Latin word certes, meaning sandbank or shoal, which either refers to their environment or perhaps the snake's coloration. I'm not quite sure. But I will confess I'm a little preoccupied with snakes right now, and you might have gotten that feeling today if you're joining us. The Lunar New Year is just 10 days away. I'm so very excited about this. We'll be entering the year of the wood snake. Accordingly, our latest group of animal chaplains has been named Ophidia, a term that also comes from Greek and was once used to describe a group of snakes. Ophidia meant a group of snakes. It's also been used in spirituality and mystical ways. Think about the Kundalini serpent, which shows up in Tantra and Yoga, Vedanta and Sikhism. Or consider the Ouroboros, a snake eating her own tail, as a symbol of infinity and cyclical renewal. We find that one in ancient Egypt and also in Greece. We can also find a circular snake motif in Norse mythology, and this one is going to definitely test my pronunciation skills today. This one is named Jorgamundr, and feel free to correct my Old Norse pronunciation in fellowship time there. It's not a native language for me. But in the Norse tradition, this is the world serpent, a giant snake that encircles the entire world and bites his own tail. He's a symbol of the interconnectedness of all things. And it's said that one day he will release his tail from his mouth and battle the gods as part of the cosmic struggle between order and chaos to rebirth a new balance in the world. I know I digressed into an interesting side quest there, and some of you might be thinking about Thor. But my point is that snakes show up in religious traditions and philosophies all around the world. But to circle back, pun intended, to the year of the wood snake, let's consider, as I close my opening thoughts here, what some people are saying about what this year foretells. The combination of snake and wood suggests a year of steady progress and of personal growth. Challenges may arise, but they will often bring opportunities for self-discovery and deep transformation and success if handled wisely. It's a time to shed old habits and embrace change with an open mind. And also, perhaps my favorite of the ideas of this year, new connections are likely to be meaningful and transformative. With this guidance and some of the insights we've gleaned from those of you who filled out the Compassion Consortium participant survey that we sent out at the end of last year, which was just a couple weeks ago, I want to let you know that today you'll experience some changes in Sunday service, and you'll notice some other programming offering changes as we shed some of our habits and make space for some new inspirations and for more community connection. You've asked us for more time together, and we'd love to give that to you. We hope these changes lead to opportunities for you, for self-discovery and deep transformation and meaningful new connections within this community. Let's see what we can all co-create together this year. And now over to Jody Jacobs, who is part of our animal chaplain training team. She's an ordained animal chaplain, founder of the Foster and Ferals Challenge. She's an ambassador for the Animal Communication Collective and a board member at the Farm of the Free Animal Sanctuary. Jody's going to help us out with our Tenets of Agreement today.
Thank you, Sarah. At the beginning of each Sunday service, we remind ourselves of the Tenets of Agreement which this community strives to uphold. For 2025, we've decided to focus on one of our 10 tenets each month. As I read the words aloud, we encourage everyone to take time to contemplate how the tenets can impact and influence your daily life. If you are unfamiliar with all 10 of our tenets, please read the full list at the link just placed in the chat. Tenet number 1. We acknowledge a divine force at the heart of the universe and in all living beings. We may refer to this force as God, but it is known by many names and appears in different forms or as formless. Please take a moment to mindfully meditate on this idea. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Jody. What a way to start the new year. Now I'm going to hand it over to Elena Sigler for our interspecies spiritual practice, and she's got a good one this month. Elena's been actively involved in the animal freedom movement since 2014. In 2022, Elena's journey led her to become an ordained interspecies and interfaith animal chaplain. She instructs mindfulness techniques, advocates for exploited beings, and supports activists to guide them in forging a connection with their emotions and empowering individuals to navigate daily life with more confidence. You may remember Elena's name from our end of the service announcements where we share about her activist and caregiver support group. Hey, Elena, practice and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rev. Sarah. I'm grateful to share this interspecies practice after visiting Love and Arms Animal Sanctuary in Erie, Colorado. Love and Arms is rooted in ahimsa, nonviolence towards all beings. The sanctuary's mission is to provide exceptional, lifelong social, emotional, and cognitive care to rescued farmed animals and advocate for those who have not been rescued by sharing our residents' story to inspire, educate, and empower others to embrace a more compassionate and sustainable lifestyle. We'll engage in a guided meditation written by Kathleen Prasad of the Shelter Animal Reiki Association. During this guided meditation, we'll bear witness to the love and light of Russell the rooster's flock. Then, the hens in his flock are a gentle reminder of the presence that he occupied at the sanctuary and continues to do so even after he's drifted into the what's next last December. Please adjust the volume as needed on your computer. Sit in a comfortable position, spine straight, with your shoulders and arms relaxed. Relax your entire body as you breathe deeply a few times. Imagine there are roots growing down from the base of your spine. Deep and wide into the earth. Imagine that the powerful grounding energy of the earth can flow up the roots into your heart center, giving you stability and peace. Take 10 breaths. And on each in-breath, feel the earth energy coming up into your heart. On each out-breath, release any emotions, fears, or worries you may feel inside you. With each successive breath, feel more and more stillness and stability within you. Allow yourself to sit in the space of earth energy and stability that you've created with your breath. Once you feel yourself fully calm and connected to the earth, bring an animal to your mind. Allow yourself to think of the experiences you've had with this individual for which you are grateful.
Focus on the parts of his or her unique being for which you are grateful. Imagine that your heart can expand out of your body, creating a beautiful state of gratitude all around you. Know that within this heart space, all is perfect, all is balanced. Simply invite the animal into the space and feel gratitude wrapping around you in this individual. Let go of any worries about what needs to be healed. And continue to breathe the calm and strength of earth energy into your heart as you share this space of gratitude with this individual.
Hey, everybody. Ooh, that was so Calgon, take me away. I'm sure that ages me, but maybe somebody remembers. There was this old commercial that implied that all that women watching daytime television really wanted was a hot bath with a closed door and maybe some time to meditate. So thank you so much, Elena. It is my pleasure to move us now into the segment with the special spiritual guest, who today is extra special because you know her. Reminds me of that great line in Elf when Santa is coming to town and Will Ferrell very excitedly says, "I know him." So we all know today's guest. Before moving into that, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. You probably know that I have a bouncing baby book in the world. It's not quite a week old, Aged Like a Yogi, A Heavenly Path to a Dazzling Third Act. And I have a couple of events happening in New York City, one happening in Massachusetts before we see each other again. So I'll just mention when and what those are and put them in the chat if anyone is in this part of the world and would like to come to a book shower. So the first one is this coming Tuesday evening. It will be up here in my building in Upper Manhattan. If you're interested, you can just email me directly. I'll give you all the information. Plus, you'll get a prize or you'll join the Polar Bear Club because I think it's supposed to be so cold on Tuesday, but we're going to do this anyway. And then next Sunday afternoon at the Integral Yoga Institute in Greenwich Village, there's going to be a lovely 90-minute seminar. One of my colleagues in Integral Yoga will start with a pranayama meditation service, and then we'll do a really deep dive into how to age brilliantly with yoga and Ayurveda. And there'll be a link in the chat for that. And then finally, the Massachusetts event is a whole weekend, a retreat, February 7th through 9th at the Kripalu Institute for Yoga and Health in Lenox, Massachusetts. And I will put the information again in the chat. So thanks so much for that. Now, when I said you know this person, some of you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, I read about the person who's going to be here today and I've not run into her before. Well, that's understandable because the person who was going to be our special spiritual guest lives in the UK, but she will be joining us next month. That is Dr. Christina Nellis. She is an animal advocate within the Eastern Orthodox religious tradition. But we are so blessed to be speaking with someone wonderful from much closer to home, and that is our very own Jennifer Baker. You know her as Director of Engagement for the Compassion Consortium. She's also our newest board member. She's an ordained animal chaplain, and she practices in Prescott, Arizona and beyond as PAWS, that's PAWS, for compassion. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, Victoria.
Wonderful to talk with you in this formal setting. I almost feel like I
Yes.
should call you Ms. Baker. So we all know you, but let's have a little bit of the backstory. Where did you come from, spiritually and otherwise?
Um, I was raised by my mom in the Lutheran church. When I was young, it was a place where we went. The kids all sang songs, created art, had fun in Sunday school. There was always a gathering of the families after our church service, snacking, having coffee, chatting, catching up together, and it was nice. Um, it laid the foundation of community and connection with God for me. But however, as I grew older, I began to be a little bit of a rebel with the limits of what one religion believed and taught over so many others that I was learning about that were out there. Um, so my biggest turning point was when I went to college, and my favorite class ever was called Non-Traditional Religions and Cults. Interesting name that they've changed since then. It opened my eyes to so many new and different things, and I've never stopped learning since then. So I've always believed in God. My connection now is through prayer, yoga, meditation, being in nature, and anything else that grounds and connects me to source and helps me to stay stable in my life. And I pull my beliefs and rituals from many other practices, honoring that there isn't just one way. And I feel a pull toward a more inclusive and expansive spiritual path, one that embraces all living beings. So that's kind of where I'm at now, where I came from.
You just sound a lot like somebody who ought to get involved with the Compassion Consortium, which you certainly have in a big way. So tell us why the CC is important in your life and your work for the animals.
When I came to a Compassion Consortium Sunday service, I honestly couldn't believe that there was a community of people like this whose values and acceptance of all spiritualities and love for all beings aligned with mine. I'd never known what that was like. It was a bit like living in a dream state, realizing that so many are really this kind and help support each other, which sounds sad, but although I'm elated that I'm a part of it and I know that it is out there. Um, it took me a while to get comfortable with trusting that it was real. And once I did, I feel like I haven't turned back, and I continue to learn about how I can affect change in so many ways. So being a part of the Compassion Consortium now shows me that our growth is critical to bringing people to our community. So I think reaching our members, attendees, those who don't know about us are in a situation like many of us might have been, and like I was. I think it's a major goal for the years to come as we grow and expand and offer more. Um, I think there's so much power in numbers. And when we have one another for support, guidance, compassion, we can be so much stronger in our collective mission and our personal journeys. We can do so much more together. So I hope that is how Compassion Consortium can grow and affect our change in our world's future. But for now, I just know for what it has done for me, I think there's so many people I hear of in groups after service, things like that, that they're looking for that too, and they finally found it. And that makes all the difference.
That's really beautiful. And I think really beautiful for Reverend William to hear, because I think when he was just germinating the idea for this, that was the goal. And to hear from you that with all of us working together, that goal is being reached. So let's talk a little bit more about you, Jennifer Baker. You're our kind of still water run deep. There is just so much going on with you. How did you first come to realize that working to ending the suffering of animals was going to be important in your life?
I don't think I know I've always felt this way. but I didn't fully realize what my impact was. So when I was a teen, I would rescue animals and make sure to take them to the shelters that were advertised as no-kill shelters. I would drive far away to make sure they got to the right place, doing all that I could. Um, and then growing up, like many others, I didn't initially question the consumption of animals or the use of animal products. It was just kind of the norm. That's how you were raised. That's what you know. That's what everybody else, for the most part, does. Um, so as I became more aware of the ethical implications of these choices, I started to feel a disconnect with my actions and my values, and that really started to become unsettling for me. Um, so as I got older and I started the animal chaplain training program, and was introduced to Compassion Consortium, I really understood the impact and what I could be doing to be a part of helping to end suffering. It just, there were so many things coming at once. I was learning so much. So I vowed that when I was ordained, I would be a vegan, and I did that. And I'm very proud of myself for that. I'm very, finally, it's like it changed everything. It was like a ripple effect of there was a new freedom in my choices, and I finally felt in sync with my values. And there wasn't that underlying knowing or uncomfortableness with what I felt, what I knew was right in my actions. So that's kind of how I evolved with it and
Mm.
recognizing. Yeah.
That is so cool. And there are probably some people attending today or watching this later who are doing Veganuary this month of January and testing the waters of completely kindness-based way of living in the world. So quite an adventure. So, Jen, everything you've told me today, I would say, yeah, that seems like Jen. Yeah, she's really cool. She's spiritual. She's really caring about the animals. She's vegan. Tell me something that would just surprise the heck out of me.
Oh, interesting question. Maybe a couple of things, kind of reality based and kind of some fun ones, maybe. Um, I lived in a very corporate business world since I was about 16, kind of trained and programmed to be that way. And not until I followed my true passion in life for helping animals through becoming an animal chaplain did I finally have the courage to resign as the director of a charter school 7 months ago. As scary as that was financially and still is at times. But I've never been happier or more in sync with my values. And I'm happy. And I don't know if I always felt that way before to that level. Um, Another silly one, which you probably think is crazy, as if I'm down or I'm stressed out, my one go-to is singing and dancing to a Steely Dan song because I have them all memorized from childhood. And it makes me smile and I'm happy. And my husband will even turn it on if he can tell I'm down. So it's kind of a silly one. I mean, kind of a small pleasures, right? And a happy one. I'm a proud grandma of a 4-year-old boy and twin baby girls turning 1 in about a month. So.
Well, a lot of that surprised me because you certainly did not look the age of a grandmother, although I suppose a lot of grandmothers these days don't. And
Right.
I love the Steely Dan thing because when I'm feeling down, or especially if I have to clean and I don't really want to, I
Hmm.
play Dire Straits' Walk of Life from the 80s. And I got so into doing that when my daughter was little. She called me once and said, they're playing that cleaning song on the radio. So I wonder how many people are relating to having some kind of wonderful song that lifts them up. And I guess that's really so much a part of what we have to do as animal advocates in our world, because we really are a minority, and everybody says they love animals, and yet most people aren't doing some of the things that we do. So, Jen, in your experience, what do you think is the most important thing that any individual can do right now to make the biggest difference for animals?
I think seeking out ways to make your impact in the world for all beings. How can you do that? as well as choosing a vegan lifestyle. I mean, those are the two most simple and most powerful I can think of. Because living by example to help affect the change, showing people what you're doing and why, and be someone that can be curious about they can be curious about to start them thinking as well. And that's what I've seen a lot in coming from kind of my old world, as I call it, to my new world, is people listen. They like to hear, they're curious. And I think when you tell them why it's so important, what you're doing, the way you're choosing to live, eat, be, what you're doing in your world, I think I think people are very curious and kind of sometimes they might take a moment to pause and think, huh, that's interesting. It's not trying to force anyone. It's not trying to, you know, put them down where they're at. It's just they might feel like it can be that simple to start, and you never know when someone's aha moment is going to be present in their lives. You just don't know. I didn't know when mine was coming, and it did. And they come at all times and for all reasons. And I just think that's the most important is be a presence and actively live in that way.
Lovely. So we're still in January. I heard that it's okay to say Happy New Year all through the month of January. And this is a time when people are looking forward, certainly for what's coming for the rest of this year, but sometimes really looking forward. So as you look out there for 2025 and perhaps a bit beyond, what's your vision for the Compassion Consortium and for the animal rights movement?
I feel kind of what Sarah mentioned in the beginning. I feel like it's like a year of change can happen, even with all of the maybe unrest and things happening in the world and things that we are concerned about. I feel like we can make big change. I think if we unite together, we grow. We can then go out and be, as far as Compassion Consortium, we can all be members that come together and support each other, and then also take action and find ways that we can get out there more and do more. I think there's power in numbers, you know. So I think that that's something, and every group and every person that does that, I see this year as something hopeful that we will see change. I'm reading things lately about plant-based treaties and everything else that could be changing, dietarily, and I get very excited that that's kind of this. I get chills. It's the first time ever we've seen some of these things, and that's exciting. So that's what I think could be coming for 2025.
I love it. I love it. I think it's really time. There are setbacks and whatnot, but the animals, it's about time, about
Yeah.
time for them. So, just finally, as we close, Jen, there seems to be for so many people, animal people, spiritual people, those two things aren't connecting. And the Compassion Consortium is attempting to show that they really can go hand in glove. Do you have anything to say on that?
I think that what we do is we seamlessly do that in our Sunday services, in what we do, our other offerings for people, things like that. I just think it's about growing. I think growth is what we need this year to really make that even more impactful. Yeah.
Here's to that growth. And moving on to you with Song
Okay.
of Compassion.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Okay, so this month's Song of Compassion is about choosing kindness. In a world where every choice matters, this song invites us to embark on a soulful journey of compassion and empathy. Just perfect for what we're talking about today, right? This heartfelt song serves as a powerful anthem, celebrating the beauty of living with intention, choosing to act with kindness, and honor all living beings. Through its melody and message, this song reminds us of our deep connection to animals and the transformative power of compassion. As we listen, we're encouraged to break free from cycles of harm and embrace a life rooted in love, understanding, and positive change. Enjoy.
I hate no one, for the world has enough strife. Let's not add to the troubles, but change our life. We'll break the chains of violence, set compassion free. And remember that animals aren't meant to serve you and me. We're so much like the animals we see. We all feel love, fear, and agony. They cherish their young, they feel the pain. And just like us, they don't want to die in vain. I choose the light with love and care. Let's fill our world with kindness everywhere. Every heart beats, every life desires. Together we can change, ignite compassion's fires. We're so much like the animals we see. We all feel love, fear, and agony. They cherish their young, they feel the pain. And just like us, they don't want to die in vain. I choose the light with love and care. Let's fill our world with kindness everywhere. Every heart beats, every life desires. Together we can change, ignite compassion's fires. We're so much like the animals we see. We all feel love, fear, and agony. They cherish their young, they feel the pain. And just like us, they don't want to die in vain.
Jen, thank you. That was a good one. I so enjoyed hearing you and Victoria share about things I didn't know about you. I'm very curious, actually, about everyone right now. Phil has turned on the ability to chat. What is your song that you play loud? Your cleaning song in Victoria's house, or your I'm not feeling so good song that you put on? I would love to hear what your all songs are as I get into another announcement here for you all before we turn to prayers and blessings. But if you feel like kind of letting folks know what's a good song if you're feeling down. I admit I listen to a lot of kirtan, like Krishna Das, but I also listen to a lot of Sinead O'Connor and 90s and 80s songs. I've seen some Steppenwolf, Born to be Wild in the chat. Boy, that one I could do an animal kind of piece on that as well. But if you have a favorite song, put that in there. Maybe we need a Compassion Consortium playlist for when we're feeling down. Maybe Phil can help us out with something like that. We know Phil likes ska music, so there would definitely be ska music represented. Keep them coming in there. Just wanted to let you all know that those of you who shared in your participant survey that you'd like more community time at the end of service, we want to get you that. So in response, we're moving our Compassion in Action segment into our monthly newsletter. So we'll highlight different compassionate actions that people in the Compassion Consortium community are taking. So we want to hear about what you all are doing. Phil, could you bring that slide up? that we've got. If you have a compassion in action idea, folks, if you're involved in something or something's going on in your town or your country or wherever you are, please email it to compassionconsortium@gmail.com so we can start featuring some of those and get you all kind of connected as well about, who's doing what around the world. So we've got more things to share. Thanks so much for doing that, Phil. Phil's turned on the ability to chat. He's also going to turn on your videos so that we can take a look at each other at the end of the service as we go into fellowship. As we kind of transition to blessings and prayers, we always share a little good news at this time. My good news happens to be the same as something Victoria mentioned, which is Victoria's book, Age Like a Yogi, is now available. I'm so excited about this. Her book offers a fresh perspective on aging physically and spiritually. And I am really feeling like I am aging this year. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the past year or two, or I don't know, since 2019, perhaps. I'm just feeling like I need a little extra help with how to manage aging and kind of what that feels like. And I didn't know my body could do that. No one prepared me for that. So I think Victoria's book is such a wonderful way for us to nurture our body and our soul, to be gentle to ourselves as we age, and we can't necessarily do the things that we could do before, or we need to do them in different ways that are more supportive of us at whatever place we are in life. And everybody's aging, even you folks who are 20 and 30. So we're all aging, and I think she's got some great advice for us here. Don't forget the 3 events that Victoria mentioned earlier. Next week, there's the Intimate Gathering in New York City. Then there's one in Integral Yoga in New York City following that. And in February, if you've never been to Kripalu, what a great opportunity to go to Kripalu. It's beautiful there. It's in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. A really great place with a wonderful feel, lots of yoga to be had, fresh sprouts to be had, different walking trails, and getting to be with people. I miss being with people outside of Zoom boxes. I love to see you all in the Zoom boxes, but being able to to get together in person is just a fabulous thing. So Victoria's got that in the chat. We'll make sure that goes out to you all as well. So there is plenty of good news to go around. Also, this past month has brought a lot of challenges. Okay, the catastrophic fires in California, to any personal losses that you might have been feeling. We want to make sure we take time to care for each other. This is a community of care, to care for each other as those are happening. We can ask for support, and we can give each other condolences, pats on the backs, kind of warm virtual hugs. So I just wanted to mention a couple in our community here. I want to honor 2 beings important to our advisory board member, Lisa Levinson. I think some of you know Lisa from In Defense of Animals. She recently lost her feline companion, Munchie, followed by the loss of her dear human partner, Arthur. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce Arthur's last name properly, but I'm going to give it a shot. I believe it's Simonu or Simonu. But Arthur was lost. He perished in the California wildfires. He was one of the human casualties. So just taking a deep breath and thinking about Lisa and all she's holding. She's been such a support to this community. Mm-hmm. We want to be supportive to her. May Munchie and Arthur both be free from pain and suffering. May they be happy, joyous, and free in whatever is next. Folks, I know you still got your songs coming into the chat, but I also wanted to mention that if you have any requests for prayers or blessings, please put those in the chat right now. And please attend to each other. Elena, I think you've got one for us. Can we bring Elena on up? And I believe we've got a slide for the one she'd like to talk about.
Bill, could you bring up Russell Crowe's photo?
I love hearing you say that. Could you bring up Russell Crowe's photo? It's not what you expect, folks.
It's not. There he is. Russell Crowe has a very special place in my heart, and I'm excited to share that January 5th of this month was National Bird Day. It's celebrated to raise awareness of the challenges faced by birds and to encourage a healthier relationship with them. And our guided meditation from earlier in the service honors the life of Russell the rooster, Brita the hen, and every resident who once had a physical presence at Love and Arms Animal Sanctuary. Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh has said, nonviolent action, born of the awareness of suffering and nurtured by love, is the most effective way to confront adversity. Brida and 18 other beautiful hens were rescued from a local CSA where they were used for their eggs. They arrived at Love and Arms scared, hungry, and in poor medical condition with heart and lung issues. According to the Open Sanctuary Project, a modern egg-laying hen has been bred to lay between 250 and over 300 large eggs in a single year. Considering that it takes around a day for an egg to be formed, that means that these hens could be producing eggs year-round. A highly taxing and potentially dangerous process. Egg production can lead to fatal reproductive tract diseases such as ovarian cancer, egg yolk impactions, egg binding, malnutrition, and osteoporosis. These sweet girls were 2 to 4 years old at their rescue. They were rescued by a community member before arriving at their forever safe home at Love and Arms in 2020. The vet discovered that Brida had severe heart failure, with what the vet described as the largest bird heart she's ever seen. They found a hole in Brida's heart, causing fluid to build up around her lungs, liver, and heart. She drifted into the what's next last December, and her wondrous presence continues to appear at Love and Arms. Russell Crowe came from a rooster fighting bust in Denver. He was found alongside 2 additional rescued roosters who were named Spartacus and Odysseus. Over the years, Russell showed us immense strength. He fought through a severe systemic infection, resulted in the loss of 2 toes and months of recovery with medications, antibiotics, and regular vet visits. Despite everything, he rallied and returned to a semi-normal life, spending time with his flock and enjoying the comfort that was provided. Before he left his physical body, Russell was staying warm in the med barn with his girls and enjoying the little things that bring him joy, like a box of leaves he was fascinated with, and having such a gentle, kind personality. Both of these wonderful beings will always have a special place in our hearts.
Oh, Elena, thank you. I think you have an optional new career as an animal obituary writer. My gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful tribute. And I feel like I know Russell Crowe, Frida, Spartacus, and Atticus. Did I get the other 2 right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that. Folks, if you have any prayers or blessings that need to be in the chat, go ahead and put them in there. And then we're going to close here before we get to fellowship today. Jess Hoffman has created another beautiful closing blessing for us, a meditative practice and closing blessing that we're going to play in just a minute. But I'd like us all just to take a breath together and bring your mind to the thought of healing, to the thought of health, of warmth, of comfort. I'd ask first that you send a little of that you are feeling inside of you to anyone around you who is healing right now. I'm going to send a little of mine to Rev William, a little of mine to our own Elaine, and a little of mine to Jody's cat, who's dealing with some dental disease, and a little of mine to Bubba at my house, who's working through some healing in his heart, literally. Send some of that feeling of healing out to whoever needs it near you in your life. All right, Phil, could you bring up Jess's beautiful creation for us? Hey, folks, we got some backyard animals, backyard wildlife, and all sorts of folks we need to send some blessings to here. Let's let Jess lead us the way.
Taking a moment of silence and of peace to fully open our hearts to the words of this blessing, settling into our heart and our physical space, we notice the way in which our bodies are supporting our life, the breath breathing itself, and knowing that there is nothing to do but to be here fully now. This is a blessing for the many animals who we share land and space with, whom have found ways to cohabitate amongst the busyness and chaos of human dwellings. Beings who find themselves in our backyards. We see you, we hear you, and it is our intention to love you and open our hearts fully to peaceful ways of existing with and alongside you. And we offer these words knowing that there is such power in the speaking aloud of words. May peace dwell within the hearts of all our animal friends who share our habitats. May the squirrels, with their nimble grace and playful antics, find sustenance in bountiful nuts and seeds. May their tails twitch with joy as they scamper through the trees, their lives filled with wonder and adventure, and yes, even a little mischief. May the chipmunks, striped wonders of the garden, diligently collect and store their treasures, their industriousness a reminder of the importance of preparation. May the raccoons, masked bandits of the night, thrive in the shadows, their clever minds and dexterous paws guiding them to safe havens and abundant feasts. May the possums, often misunderstood, find comfort in the quiet corners of the world, their nocturnal wanderings bringing balance to the ecosystem. May the rats, resourceful and resilient, find safe burrows and nourishing food, their presence a reminder of the intricate web of life that sustains us all. May the rabbits, with their gentle eyes and swift movements, find solace in the meadows and fields, their lives filled with moments of peace, safety, ease, and contentment. May the birds, with their vibrant songs and graceful flight, soar through the skies, their nests filled with warmth and their lives filled with freedom. May the toads, frogs, guardians of the garden, find solace in the damp earth and dewy leaves, their presence a blessing to the flourishing life around them. May the groundhogs, wise and watchful, emerge from their burrows, their presence a reminder of the cyclical rhythms of nature. May the insects, tiny wonders of the natural world, find their place in the grand tapestry of life, their buzzing and fluttering a symphony of existence. Let us humans learn to share this space with respect, reverence, and compassion. Let us choose means and methods that preserve life, recognizing that we are all interconnected, part of something way bigger than ourselves. Let us create spaces and offerings where humans and animals can cohabitate peacefully, harmoniously. May we help in compassionate and caring ways to make their lives more easeful and full of joy, wonder, and awe. Let us cultivate harmony, ease, and connection, honoring the intricate balance of this shared habitat. Knowing that we have not named or mentioned all beings we share our habitats with, we offer these words. May all beings, great and small, experience long lives filled with abundance, joy, awe, and wonder. And may love and compassion prevail above all. And with these words, I say amen, and so it is.
And so it is. We don't just talk about animals around here, folks. Jess, thank you for offering a practice. So much kindness, so much gratitude, so much care. Thank you. Hey, folks, if Dave was here, he'd be holding his cell phone up right here. But I don't know that I have located Dave, so I'm not sure. I know Dave is, I don't think he is with us today, so I am going to try using my cell phone here to help do a donation, because as Dave mentioned to us last month, the folks who came here before you helped sustain us for another Sunday service to take care of the cost that there are, even though we volunteer our time to put this service on. So you can either pick up your phone, turn on the camera, hold it over this code right now, and a little URL, a little web address will show up right there on your phone, right on the camera spot. You can click that to go to the web page to donate. Or if you'd just like to click on a link in the chat, there's a link and you can do that. We really do appreciate you paying it forward for the people who would like to be here in February. And now Jen will let you know about a few coming events before Victoria invites us into fellowship time. Thank you for coming to Sunday service.
As we conclude our service today, we acknowledge the profound challenges and transformations occurring all around us. Natural disaster, war, political unrest, and deep personal losses. Yet amidst this turmoil, there's also immense beauty, growth, and positive change. Together we face the question, how can we embrace the pain and uncertainty, attend to our inner landscapes, and cultivate balance within? By staying present, loving those around us, caring for ourselves, quieting our minds, we create space for healing and resilience. As we navigate this wildcard year, let's surrender to the unknown, lean into our intuition, and seek guidance from Spirit. This is a time to open our hearts, find gratitude, and discover miracles amidst the chaos. To continue serving you in the best way possible, we're asking for your input. We've put together a community feedback survey to hear your thoughts, ideas, and suggestions about our programs, events, and vision for the future. The survey takes just a few minutes to complete, and your responses will directly impact how we grow and evolve. Sarah has put the link in the chat, or you can use your phone to scan the QR code on screen. And in our February Sunday service, our spiritual guest will be Dr. Christina Nellis, an Eastern Orthodox theologian, fellow of the Oxford Center for Animal Ethics, and editor of Pan-Orthodox Concern for Animals. So we'll get to see her then. Engaged members, join Reverend Sarah for an immersive practice in writing prayers or sacred poems for animals on February 11th. And don't forget about all of our monthly recurring gatherings for vegan meditation, activist well-being, and pet loss support. Details are always available on CompassionConsortium.org events page and in the monthly newsletter.